Willis's World, back with another one. This time we're covering the Archer, and I'm going over the Succession part of its kit. Just a heads up, this character does have access to its Succession and its Awakening at level 1. As you level up, you will be getting skills in both, and its little Awakening quest or Succession quest is I forget what it's called, but as you can see up here, there's no choosing between the two. It's just main and awakening. You can hop between the two, but this is going to be a 3-part video: a rotation for the main kit, and a rotation for its awakening kit, and then I'll have a combo that I want to show you guys. But yeah, the flow for its main kit that I found that is seeming to be very nice involves pressing space a lot, but other than that, there's no other key that you really need to press, because everything that you primarily need is quick slottable. But the flow is purging shot, space, exhale, space, absolute bolt of radiance, space, earth shatter, space, earth's judgment, space, and radiant storm, space. Now, after every single one of them is space, so you're probably wondering which skill that is. That is Meteor Dive. And that will be doing 5 hits to 7 targets for 40 MP per hit, super armor during airborne moves, nullified during cooldown, stiffness on hits, and pulls targets in PvE. So, while everything else is going on, you're jumping over a group of enemies and pulling them into one spot, which is very nice with how some of the other skills work, because you're basically bundling them up for a shotgun blast. You got your breath deceleration. It will reduce movement speed on hits with Meteor Dive, so you're pulling them all into a bundle and then reducing their movement speed. And then you got your absolute, which I actually probably should have grabbed, but yeah. That'll make it so that there's more resource and gets the up to 10 targets instead of the up to 7 targets. Still keeps 5 hits. All that's added is more resource gen and 3 more targetables. So, is worth going for. But the rotation itself: purging shot, exhale, bolt of radiance, earth shatter, earth judgment, radiant storm. The purging shot is down here in its secondary skills, and it will be doing damage according to Valence kicks damage times 4. I actually don't know where. Oh, right there. So, upgrade that, and it is going off of the base. It does, well, it actually might go off of that, so just grab that just to be safe. What the quick slot is doing for that is it takes out the kick, because this is supposed to be like a flow. It will go from that into this, but it will take out the kick and it will just do the shot if it's quick slotted. So, very short cooldown, very useful, does good damage. It also bounds on hits, so that's going to be bounding them, followed with space, which is going to bundle them all up, and then slow them. Already getting some nasty combos. The exhale is the skill set right here. So, this can be quick slotted, and once it's quick slotted, you need to move a direction to get the effect of it. The only direction you can't move to gain a boost from it is forward. But if you press your 0 and move to the left, you will gain the breath recover. And what that will do is it will cause exhale to activate the recover one, and the recover does Attack damage 600% times 2, and anything in the area that it hits that is a ally recovers 500 HP and 200 resource of their respective resources. Now, if you were to go and activate it in its slot, whichever slot you put Breath of Spirit in, and then go backwards, you gain yellow light. And that will be a 400% damage times 2 to targets in the area, and there is a 50% chance to stun those enemies. And it's a 50% chance to each of them, so it's not a 50% to trigger and stun all, or 50% to trigger and not stun any of them. It's every single enemy has a 50% chance for their individual bodies to be stunned. And then if you go to the right after activating Breath of Spirit, you gain the Deceleration White Light, and that will be doing movement speed and attack and casting speed reductions all enemies in that range. So this is kind of your choice of playstyle. If you want to heal, because there's not really a heal in this kit besides that, just go and pop his quick slot and go to the left. It's as straightforward as that. And then you've got your Bolt of Radiance, which is up here. It'll be doing 6 hits to 10 targets, and it has a 50% crit hit rate in PvP and a 75% crit hit rate in PvE. And on each of those hits, it is applying a burn damage as well as knockdown on hits. The Earth Shatterer is 12 hits to 10 targets, and it recovers resource on hits as well as applying a dot on hits. What's cool about that, having intrinsic resource recovery, the dots that it's inflicting are also triggering the resource recovery. So resources from that, your resources are fine. Your Earth's Judgment here, 6 hits, 10 targets, forward guard, and knockback. It is a skill enhancement. I do have 2 skill enhancements in this rotation, the Earth's Judgment and the Radiant Storm. Earth's Judgment will require Wing Strike rank 3, and that you actually do need to pick up for the Awakened kit, so you'll need to upgrade that in your main kit, because that is a resource gen that is usable in your Awakening. Your Earth Shatter is in your rotation, so you may as well upgrade that. And that will lead you to Earth's Judgment. Then the Radiant Storm is from Storm of Light. I really hate that skill. And Arrow Explosion. You won't be using either of these skills, but the Radiant Storm is good enough that it gets a pass for me. But for what that rotation will look like in combat, 1 space, 2 space, 3 space, 4 space, 5 space, 6 space. That 6 is a little hard to line up to get it right, but when it does land on the right targets, it does a lot. It does shoot the 3 arrows and they explode, and each explosion does 4 hits. So it is a 12 hit ability to 10 targets, increases your magic DP, recovers resource per hit, and applies bleeding on hits for a 30 stack. So every time those arrows explode, it explodes 4 times, and it will be applying 120 bleed damage on all the targets in the explosion radius. And that triggers 3 times, so it's actually 360 bleed damage every tick off of that skill. So yeah, that's one thing that is somewhat in there. There is a few dots in here that will ruin something's day if it sticks on something. But yeah, that's the Archer Succession. My view on it is it's kind of variable. due to that breath thing being able to be changed, you've got a stun in your kit close to the opening, you've got a heal in the kit close to the opening, and you've got a debuffer in, in the list close to the opening. And that alone makes this a decent kit, and that's before you even get into the fact that you're dragging things in PvE with the space button. You've got bound from purging shot, followed immediately by that, so even if you take the space out with that, you can bound a enemy in PvP into place, and then proceed with a stun chance right there, and if the stun kicks in, you have them unable to move and stunned, and the fact that they can't move means the stun lasts longer, and then you got a knockback there for PvE, not PvP, you got knockback on Earth Shatterer for PvP, so you can go boom, stun, activate that skill, go into this, and knock back them and get them away from you. Sadly, not a knockdown. You got knockback on this for PvE, and you got stiffness and knockdown in PvE for this. So there's not much PvP control for this, but this is a little more PvE oriented. It's a gather the group and shotgun blast them with your skills style playstyle. But yeah, good kit. If you need to get a quick leave of combat, shift back. Just like with almost every other class, they have some sort of directional evasion, and shift back is usually it. Though there are a few of them that are shift space, like the Musa. You quickly turn around and just shift space and it will dash you around. But yeah, Archer Succession, good kit, fun to use. Heal is only if you choose to take the heal from Exhale. Nothing else has a heal unless you skill add on it, which I did, and I would recommend you do it too if you're going to be using it, because the Meteor Dive, oh, I actually didn't trigger that with health regen. Well, instead of crit hit damage, you can do health regen there, but yeah, the Meteor Dive, if you're using that after every skill, will actually have 100% uptime on some crit damage boost. Unless it's a Black Spirits that activates. But that won't be activating until like, what, every 5 minutes. Yeah. Show you what that looks like on something that the drags can be put on. You got your burn, your bleed, your pain, and your movement speed decrease on the target. So yeah, there's a few debuffs that it keeps uptime on. If you keep targeting it, you'll be having the burn from Bolt of Radiance, the pain from Earth Shatter, and the bleed from Radiant Storm all on your target, so it's 3 different dots on the target taking away. Dots do good damage. And Archer Succession, fun damage, good cleave, has a source of sustain, even if it's a bit awkward, and you rain arrows down on your enemy with a little rapid fire crossbow on your wrist. It's pretty fun, pretty efficient for PvE, not so much in PvP, but yeah, Archer main kit, pretty straightforward, pretty easy to use, and pretty fun to use. And that is Willis's World, out.